Here we are. Here we are. So I'm testing today Ecamm Live. I'm running a beta of Ecamm Live. I had issues in the last couple betas, where when a comment came on screen, I had this couple of frames stutter. It's supposed to be fixed. We're going to find out during this live stream. So Ecamm Live, if there's anything Final Cut Pro related that you want to talk about, we can talk about that as well. Although I may do another Final Cut Pro stream tomorrow. I'll have to wait and see. Every once in a while I get inspired to do one, and I have some ideas coming up for Final Cut Pro. So with Final Cut Pro, it's a video editor, one of the best, and we're expecting a big update, right? Aren't we? Aren't we expecting a big update today? I mean, not today, but a big update this spring. There's a disappointing article in the Macworld, was it? I think it was Macworld. Talked about, no, it wasn't Macworld, it's technology. Huh, it's not Macworld, not Macworld at all. So this is an article that says Apple will talk up its mixed reality headset in 2023, but not much else. And it talks about how the Mac Pro is not going to be that big a deal, the M2 Mac Pro. High-end configuration of the Mac Pro model with blah, 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 making it unclear beyond the machine's expandability why most users would buy it over the cheaper and smaller Mac Studio. Well, that very well could be. I hope. Now, see, I just stuttered again. I switched the thing. We had another stutter, so that's not fixed. I was thinking maybe it wasn't fixed. Let me just try this and see if this is indeed fixed. I'm going to add this over here and see when it comes up. I'm going to add it to the screen and see if we have a stutter still. Here we go. Now I'm going to be talking while I add this and see if there's a stutter, and I think there is. Maybe not. Make some comments in the YouTube or the Facebook and see if I get them. I'll put them on screen and see if there's going to be a stutter. I'm going to add this one again. See if there's going to be a stutter when yeah, there is a stutter still. See, Ecamm, you got more work to do. Something's going on here. I'm not sure if that's the exact case. Let me see. I'm going to run another comment. Testing, and see if it indeed stutters again. I think it's still stuttering, Ecamm people. Let's see if it's still stuttering when I add a comment on screen. It does. Stutters for like 1 second. It's like one frame, not the audio, just the video, if you've noticed that. So I'm going to take that off, add this one back. Watch my mouth when I'm going to be talking as I add this comment on screen. It's still stuttering, just like that one frame. It stutters. You got some more work to do. Ecamm Live, you got some more work to do. Something's going on, or help me figure out what's going on. So I had a Zoom call with somebody from Ecamm to try to troubleshoot this. And one of the things that I did, I made a brand new scene. Because before I was copying and pasting them. I made a brand new scene, brand new blank scene, and added this camera as one of the troubleshooting steps that we were trying. It's still stuttering. I think it is. Go ahead and comment on YouTube, comment on Facebook, and I'll see if I can add your comments, see if we can catch that stuttering. Obviously, I'm recording this as well, but we will see. We will see. I think I still see it like a one-frame stutter. As a matter of fact, let me do, here we go. Try this again, see if it stutters. Stutters. Yep, it's definitely stuttering. Because when I put that on and then don't put it on web page with cams, yep. And I go back to me, it stutters just for a second, I think. I'll check the recording, but I think it's still stuttering. Maybe not as bad as before. I'm not sure what they fixed. They said they fixed it, but I'm not seeing the fix. Not yet. What else is going on? While we're waiting for comments to come in, I'll do a few more if nobody else comments. In the world of Final Cut Pro, what do we think's going on? What the heck's going on? We had two updates last year, 2 features added last year, and that's it. That's it. Everything else is bug fixes, optimization. Only 2 features in a year. Everybody's saying, what's going on with Final Cut Pro? I have faith. 10.7 is going to be a big one. Big feature update, the one we've been waiting for years, I hope. I hope. If it's not as big as we expect it to be, I'm not going to defend anything. I'm not going to defend Final Cut. If they don't give us a big update, whatever they get, they get. If they give us a big update, once again, they can have all that stuff. They can have all the praise that they'd like. But I'm hoping for a big one. Ecamm Live, for example, it updates constantly. This is beta 23, I think, that I'm running right now. They've had 23 public betas, adding features, adding features, adding features. Right now, we can do a multi-stream from Ecamm Live. You don't need Restream anymore, although I'm using Restream right now. But you can actually multi-stream within Ecamm, the Pro version. You can go to Facebook, you can go to YouTube, you can go to Twitch TV, a bunch of other places from Ecamm. So I'm probably going to be canceling my Restream account. Because I can also go multi-stream with the phone. Did you know that? So I have a streaming app on here that I also can multi-stream from. And you know what? It's free. It's free, and they offer multi-streaming from the phone. So when I go to NAB and I multi-stream to multiple platforms, by the way, NAB is coming up April the 16th this year, Sunday, April the 16th. I'm planning on being there Sunday morning, flying in Sunday morning to Las Vegas, my annual trek to Las Vegas. We were there last year with 53,000 people, I think. And no problems. I didn't have any problems. Some other people had some problems, but I didn't have any problems. This year's probably going to be better than that. I'd say probably in the 60s, 60,000 or 70,000 even. Their normal was like in the 90,000. One place I didn't get a chance to go to last year that I want to make sure I make an appointment, or not an appointment, but what's the right word? A reservation this year at this one place everybody goes to eat. And last year I went there and I looked at the line. I said, this line's pretty long, but they should be able to seat me. But it was too long. It was packed. This is in the middle of the day. I walked from NAB over to this place. I forget what it's called. It's a famous place people eat at. So here we go. Comment. I'm looking to go NAB this year. Let's see if I'm going to keep on talking while I add this comment and see if the comment is actually going to make me skip. I think it just one frame or something is doing it, but it's not that noticeable. It's not that noticeable. I'm not going to comment on it anymore. Jacob Rush says, I'm looking to go to NAB this year. Excellent. Jacob, make sure see, there you go. The skip happened when I took it off the screen. Ecamm, it's still skipping. I don't know what to tell you. It's still skipping. Adding overlays for me. I'm not saying it's for everybody. Obviously, everybody doesn't get it, but it's skipping for me. Let's see if we can figure that out. So Jacob says, I'm looking to go to NAB this year. Absolutely. So Jacob, if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, where you probably are right now, I'll be doing live streams and live streams and live streams from NAB. So let's see if we can have lunch together or something, or while at NAB. Let's at least meet up somewhere. I'll be following any Final Cut Pro stuff. Ecamm's not going to be there, they told me. They said they're not going to be at NAB, which I thought was, I think you could probably do some good there, selling some of your product if you go to NAB. I mean, there's a whole streaming section, but if you're not going to NAB, let me know. You can sponsor me, Ecamm Live. You can sponsor me, and I'll promote you on the live streams. I'll be there Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning. I'm coming back Wednesday noon. I'll probably be there, probably do a couple of live streams, 2-3 live streams per day, some from the hotel room, some live from the floor. Sponsor me. Be in contact. You can sponsor me if you're not going to be at NAB. But I go to NAB for one reason. I go to NAB for Final Cut Pro. That's it. That's it. If I want to see the Black Magic announcements, I'll just watch the live stream. I mean, I'll probably be there at the Black Magic announcements if they have a press event this year. I'll probably be there live, but I don't go from the East Coast to Las Vegas just for that. I go for Final Cut Pro stuff. Don't let me down, Final Cut Pro. Have something out between now and NAB that we can talk about at NAB. The Mac Pro is not looking that promising, and I wouldn't get a Mac Pro anyway. I'm not that excited about it. I got to 2019. It's a beast. But now I'm on a MacBook Pro. M1 Max, maxed out everything, maxed out RAM, maxed out graphics. I think I got the highest CPU, and I got a 4 terabyte SSD drive. That's what I'm streaming on right now. So anyway, I go there for Final Cut Pro stuff. I seek it out, and I broadcast, and anybody that's doing Final Cut Pro stuff, I'll go interview them and talk to them and see what's up. So I'm definitely going to NAB at this point. As long as nothing changes, nothing drastic changes, that'll be fine. Anyway, I'm not going to be on here too long. I just wanted to come on and see if my Ecamm Live glitch was fixed, but apparently it's not fixed. Apparently it's still there. Any other Final Cut Pro news? What do we have here? Let me just see what I have. Well, we have, we have this coming up for Final Cut Pro. Let's do this. Virtual Day over there at Future Media Concepts. Free. January the 18th, you can join one of their Global Summit Virtual Day. And you can add perks to your free ticket if you want to. Complimentary certification prep course recording. Complimentary certification exam voucher, $149 is the value. Global Summit Tour recording bundle post-event, an e-goodie bag of industry giveaways. Here's the agenda. The day agenda, January the 18th, introduction certification, blah, blah, blah. There's the agenda for the day. At the end here it says, mix and mingle networking night. Well, you're going to mix and mingle virtually. It's not in person. It is not in person. It's virtual. So that's kind of cool. I'll be there. I'll be in and out of there all day. Different times. There's the schedule. Tyler says, let's see what Tyler says. There's a skip again. My question is, what's the point in any form of Final Cut Pro certification if they aren't even considering adding extensive features or overhauling the app? Seems like the certification is meaningless. I am not going to debate that with you. I am not fond of the glacial pace that Final Cut Pro has been updated over the last since 10.5, 10.6. Glacial pace of updates. We had 2 updates last year, 2 features last year. They were added right before NAB. That's it for the whole year. Everything else is bug fixes, certain optimization. 2 features? Come on, Final Cut Pro team, you can do better than that. Give us something big. Give us something we can sink our teeth into. Everybody's waiting for collaboration. 10.7, I'm hoping it's going to be a big one. And I predict it's going to be out right before, right around, right at NAB, and a little less than about 3 months. February, March, 3 months from now, 90 days. Between now and the NAB, I expect 10.7 to come out, and I sure hope it's a big one. Big features. We need so many things in Final Cut. Yes, it's a great app, but there's so many things that are missing. Come on. You gave us dupe detection last March after 11 years. It took you 11 years to do dupe detection. Everybody else has it in their stock app right from the beginning. Come on, guys, gals, wake up there. Let's get some. Do you need some prodding? Let's get some features to this faithful Final Cut Pro faithful, which I am a Final Cut Pro faithful. It's my favorite NLE. I also like LumaFusion on the iPad a lot. And if I didn't have Final Cut Pro, I'd be using Blackmagic Resolve. So what do you think about that? Blackmagic Resolve if I didn't have Final Cut. I have the studio version of Blackmagic Resolve. And I've used it on a few projects, and I like it. It's got a lot of nice features to it. A lot of nice features. But I still, I've been using Final Cut since version 1. So that is the main thing that I keep going back to for everything. Anyway, I'm not going to be here much longer. I'm just going to, just wanted to test out that thing from Ecamm Live. It's still there, apparently. The stutter is still there. We got to work on this some more. I can do it over and over again, stutter, stutter. Every time I add an overlay or take an overlay off. So let's go over Tyler's question real quick. There we go. Tyler's, because he has my stutter. Question is, what's the point in any form of Final Cut Pro certification if they aren't even considering adding some extensive features or overhauling the app? I don't have an answer for you. And I understand your concerns. And I'm not going to defend anything. That they're on their own for defense. I'm not going to defend. I'm not going to argue with people about that. I'm disappointed in their slow pace of development as well. The app itself is fine. It's stable. It's very good, and I like it. But, man, there's so many things that are missing. It's taken so long. Have you tried Resolve for the iPad? You know what? I downloaded it. This is weird. I downloaded it, but I have an iPad Air. It's still downloaded. It didn't say you can't run it on this. There's the stutter. You can't run it on this. And it downloaded, but it crashes. It won't launch. Every time I press it, it bounces and or whatever the heck it does. It goes up and then nothing happens. So I guess I have to get an iPad. It won't run on the Air. So I haven't got a chance to try it. But you know what? let me see one thing here. Where's that? I don't know where it went to. But you know what? I really like the fact that Blackmagic has Resolve on the iPad. I like that. Would I use it? Probably not that much. Occasionally, maybe on a train or something. I love the Apple Pencil. That's what I was looking for. I love the Apple Pencil. I love the precision of that pinpoint. I really like that for some things, for some things. Your finger gets kind of big and clunky on the screen, but that Apple Pencil is pinpointed. And I really like that idea. But there's too many things that are, missing from the iPad version. Like I have 60, 70 terabytes of RAID 5s. How am I gonna hook them up? How am I going to hook them up to an iPad? That ain't going to happen because there's Thunderbolt 3 and Thunderbolt 4. Thunderbolt 4, I think. One of them's Thunderbolt 4, one of them's Thunderbolt 2. Tell me how to hook that up to an iPad to work with and Resolve, and we'd be going somewhere. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here and just test this. So it's still skipping Ecamm Live. I think I'm on the Ecamm Live. I told them, well, they thought they fixed it. I don't know what they did, but apparently not. Now, listen, I am not debating that it could be something with my setup, but I still need help trying to figure out what it is. I still need some help with that. Something is causing adding an overlay to skip a couple of frames. I think the audio goes through fine. I think it's just the video. So let's look at this. So I have a question. This was pretty interesting to me when I saw this. Raspberry Pi's new 12 megapixel camera modules provide powered autofocus. Module 3 variants include standard and wide-angle FOVs in both visible and IR light, infrared light. It's interesting that they have that. So we have a comment here. LAN network connectivity via the Files app is how you connect to Resolve. How do I connect a Thunderbolt RAID? You mean to tell me I'd have to go through my Mac? No, if I'm going to use a Mac, I'm going to use a Mac. How do I connect an iPad to a Thunderbolt RAID? Can it even see the Thunderbolt RAID? I have drivers on the Mac for the RAIDs, all three of them. They have drivers specific. I don't think they make the drivers for the iPad. I haven't seen them if they do. So he's saying that via SMB or network attached drives, but that's if I'm going to be network attached. Right now, I'm attached. These RAIDs are directly attached to my MacBook Pro into the Thunderbolt ports. I want direct attached storage. I don't want to go through networks and stuff. That seems, if I'm going to be doing all that, I might as well work on my MacBook Pro. When I'm portable, or if I have a big project, I need to be able to connect the iPad directly to the Thunderbolt RAIDs. I don't think they have drive-ins. He says, no, not through a Mac, but I need drivers to connect my RAIDs. How am I going to connect my RAIDs? They require drivers. The Mac has drivers. I can't connect my RAIDs to the SMB or network attached storage. They're not network attached. They're direct attached only. Have you heard about the horror stories of people's RAIDs being hijacked when they're connected to the internet? I've heard it multiple times. They get hijacked. Somebody comes in and it encodes all their files. What do they call that? Not encodes, but makes it so they need a key to get into all their files. Their entire RAID is done that way, and they put up a screen that says you have to pay us in order to get this unlock key. I'm direct attached only. I'm not putting my RAIDs on the network of any sort. So anyway, thanks for your suggestions, Tyler. iPad Pro support those RAIDs. You need drivers for all three of the RAIDs that I have. Thunderbolt as well, but you need drivers. They don't have drivers for iPads. I'm sorry, they don't have them. All my RAIDs need drivers in order to be recognized. So, and it's a complicated process sometimes. They don't have drivers for the iPad. Not for my RAIDs. Jacob Rush says, I'll say OWC has been wonderful with making sure soft RAID is updated with Ventura. No issues. I have an OWC as well, soft RAID. And I used before the regular version came out, I was on the beta drivers, and they work too for Ventura. Absolutely. That's my main RAID. It's not connected right now. 56 terabyte RAID 5, 64, I think, of RAW on this Flex 8, I think they call it. And then I have a Promise RAID, a RAID 5, and a G-Tech RAID 5. Those are both Thunderbolt or Thunderbolt 2. And I have them connected to my OWC dock via an adapter, Thunderbolt 2 to Thunderbolt 3 adapter from Apple, and that's how they're connected to my Mac. But I can't connect these to an iPad. You need drivers for them. All three of them need drivers. Now, the good thing is, for Ventura anyway, I don't know what's going on with the next iteration of the Mac OS. Who in heck knows? Don't need drivers. You do need drivers. You absolutely do. They're not RAID formatted using disk utility on the Mac. They're all formatted within their own. The Promise is formatted in the Promise utility. The G-Tech is formatted in the G-Tech utility. The OWC is formatted in soft RAID. I'm telling you, all three of those need drivers. If you don't have drivers and hook these drives up, all the individual drives come up and says, do you want to initialize these drives? pretty darn scary. The first time I logged into Ventura, I forgot that the RAID was connected. I knew it needed a driver, which I hadn't installed yet, and I forgot that the RAID was connected. And it popped up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drives popped up, and they said, do you want to initialize this drive? No, I don't want to initialize that drive. It'll ruin the RAID. They all need, every one of my RAIDs have their own proprietary drivers for the Mac. They don't exist for the iPad, I'm telling you. They don't exist. There's no way I can connect my RAIDs up to an iPad. And I'm not going to go through some network hocus pocus, because that's going to slow everything down. And what's the point if you have direct attached storage if you do that? I know there's ways. They have some RAIDs probably that work on the iPad, but mine don't. Mine don't. But anyway, I'd be certainly, if I get a real iPad, I have an iPad Air, so it's not going to work. If I get a real iPad, absolutely I'd be playing around with Blackmagic on it. If Final Cut Pro ever comes to the iPad, which I would expect they will one day, won't they? Don't you think someday they'll come to an iPad? It's not going to be, as powerful as the desktop version. In other words, there is a RAID utility in the Mac where you don't need to use a driver. You can't do it with these RAIDs. I'm telling you, these RAIDs need specific drivers. GTEC needs a GTEC driver, Promise needs a Promise driver, and OWC absolutely needs the soft RAID driver utility. You need it. I know you can make a RAID on a Mac. You can make a RAID on a Mac in the Mac drive utility. I know that. That's not what these are. These are RAID 5s. The Mac utility, if I'm not mistaken, only does RAID 0 and RAID 1, I think. Right, but you can delete the RAID and use a RAID method that doesn't require drivers. But why would I do that? I have 28 terabytes of RAID 5 that's my working drive. Why would I do that? I'm not going to do that. Starting from scratch, sure, if I wanted to, but I can't imagine the RAID as fast on an iPad as it is on the Mac. I can't imagine the same speed happens. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. That you can do that with a RAID. You can make it a RAID in Mac in the Apple utility, disk utility, and do it. I understand that. I'm not going to do that. My RAIDs are working fine with my MacBook Pro, so I'm not going to do that. I'll have to figure out if I get on the iPad, especially, listen, my favorite iPad app is LumaFusion. That's my number one. I've been using it for years on the iPad. So that would be the first one I'd use. Secondarily, I'd be toying around with Blackmagic. And then I would be, if and when Final Cut Pro gets the iPad, of course I'd be playing around with that. I'm not going to do any big production on it. Very unlikely, because the MacBook Pro is going to beat any iPad hands down. It's going to run circles around it. So performance-wise, I got 4 terabytes built into the iPad Pro. To my MacBook Pro. So at some point, they'll get closer, the iPad and the MacBook Pro, but at this point, they're not as close. But anyway, I'm still excited for Blackmagic to put it on the iPad. I congratulate them for doing it. Would Final Cut Pro do it? I don't want them to take away from the desktop app to put an app on the iPad. They're already slow enough developing for the Mac version of Final Cut. Don't send any resources to develop an iPad app. Let's get the desktop version up to par first. Final Cut Pro is a great app. Ecamm Live is a great app. Both of them are great apps. But Final Cut Pro, you really need to step up your game. Hopefully 10.1.7, 10.7, is a big update for us, faithful. Okay? There's a whole bunch of things you need. Whole bunch of things. Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. This is all I wanted to do today, was just test it. Ecamm Live, the skip is still there. When I add a comment, I'll put this one in. When I add a comment, it still skips. See how it skips? When the comment leaves, it also skips. See? It freezes for a second. I don't know what it is. I made, Let me see. Let me try one more. Here's one. All right. See, when I change, even when I change scenes, it freezes for a second. There's change in there, change there. Let me try this 1 second. Wait a second. Let me see something. I just noticed. Now, is it going to skip here? Yep, it still freezes just for a second. Every time I go on, and when you go off, it freezes for just a second. I don't know why it does it, but it does. That's Ecamm Live stuff. I don't know why. Is it my setup? It just started with one of the last few betas. I guess I could go back to see. It just froze there as the comment was leaving the screen. I guess I could go back to a different beta and see if it's there. I mean, it could be my setup, but how do I fix it? How do I fix it? Every time this happens, I'm going to point it out that it's Ecamm Live is skipping like that. Every time it happens. So we got to get this fixed, right? Yes. Yes, we do. So I might be back on tomorrow around 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. I'll put it up on Final Cut Pro TV and YouTube and stuff. I might be back on tomorrow. That'll be all Final Cut Pro. I just wanted to test this Ecamm Live skipping thing out to see if it still skips, and it does, unfortunately. So, all right, everybody. That's it for today. My name is Richard Taylor, if you don't know that. Huh. Wonder where that is. Huh, that's interesting. All right. My name is Richard Taylor. You can follow me on social media, Richard Taylor TV. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch TV, Instagram. They're all Richard Taylor TV. All of them. All of them. See everybody later. Maybe tomorrow. I might come back on tomorrow, but tomorrow will be all Final Cut Pro. If I come back on tomorrow, Thursday, it's going to be all Final Cut Pro. Thanks, everybody.